Welcome, everyone, to Senior Care Insights. This is the place where we really explore what it takes to thrive in our later years, focusing on both physical health and, mental well-being, too.
It's great to be diving into this. We've got some really crucial topics lined up today, things that are fundamental to how well we age.
Exactly. Today, we're zooming in on two key areas that honestly work hand in hand, getting enough calcium and, just as importantly, keeping our muscles strong.
Hmm.
You've probably heard about these things separately, but we want to connect the dots today, give you some practical insights into why they matter so much.
Absolutely. They're cornerstones, really.
So let's kick things off with calcium. We all sort of know it's good for bones, but can you break down why it's so critical, especially as we get older?
Well, yeah, it's the perfect place to start. Calcium is, it's the bedrock for your skeleton. It's the mineral that keeps bones strong,
Right, the
dense.
structure.
Exactly. But it does way more than that. It's also vital for your heart to function properly, your muscles to contract, your nerves to send signals. It's involved in a surprising amount of things.
It's kind of amazing when you think that, 99% of our body's calcium is just sitting in our bones and teeth. And nails, too, apparently.
That's right. It shows you where the body stores it, where the priority is, and it adds up about 1.5 to 2% of your total body weight is calcium.
Wow.
Now, here's the catch as we age. Our bodies, well, they get less efficient at pulling calcium out of the food we eat.
Uh-huh.
And at the same time, we tend to let go of more calcium through excretion. So you end up with this potential imbalance and net loss.
A net loss. And that's a direct link to conditions like osteoporosis, isn't it?
Hmm.
The thing that makes bones brittle and leads to those nasty fractures.
Precisely. Hip fractures, wrist, spine. Getting enough calcium is a key defense against osteoporosis and lowering that fracture risk. But it's not only about bones. Low calcium levels might also increase the risk for, say, cardiovascular issues or problems with the nervous system.
That's a really important connection to make. So, okay, if it's that crucial, what are the actual numbers? How much calcium should older adults be aiming for each day?
Good question. The recommendations do vary slightly. So for men aged 51 to 70, the target is 1,000 milligrams a day.
1,000 milligrams for men, 5170.
Yes. And for women in that same age bracket, 51 to 70, it's a bit higher, 1,200 milligrams daily.
1,200 for women. Why the difference there?
It often relates to hormonal changes, like menopause, which can accelerate bone loss in women.
Ah,
And then for everyone, men and women, once you're 71 or older, the recommendation is 1,200 milligrams per day.
got it. 1,200 milligrams for the 71 plus group. And is there an upper limit? Like, can you have too much?
Yes, there is. For all these groups, the suggested upper limit is 2,000 milligrams per day. Going over that consistently isn't generally recommended and can cause issues. We can touch on that later.
Okay, 2,000 milligrams mouse, that's helpful. Now, ideally, we get this from food, right? So where should people be looking? What are the calcium powerhouses?
Absolutely. Food first is always the best approach. Dairy is the classic one. Milk, yogurt, cheese, they pack a good punch. A single cup of milk can give you, around 276 to 352 milligrams.
That's a good chunk right there.
It is. And a bonus, a lot of dairy is fortified with vitamin D, which, you absolutely need to absorb the calcium properly. So it's a great package deal.
A double win, yeah. But what about people who can't do dairy or choose not to? Are there good non-dairy options?
Oh, definitely. Plenty of them. Seeds are surprisingly good, like sesame seeds, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds. Just about 9 grams of sesame seeds gives you almost 9% of your daily needs.
Really? Seeds, okay.
Yeah. And nuts, too, especially almonds. A small handful, maybe 22 almonds, gives you about 8% of your daily calcium. Plus, you get fiber, healthy fats, protein, vitamin E.
Almonds are great. What about greens? I always hear about leafy greens.
Yes, absolutely. Dark leafy greens are key. Things like kale, collard greens, spinach. Cooked collard greens, about 190 grams, can give you a quarter of your daily
A
needs.
quarter, wow.
And amaranth leaves are even better cooked. They can provide around 28%. Plus, you get folate and other minerals.
Okay, noted. Amaranth leaves. What else?
Legumes are good sources too. White beans, winged beans, soybeans. Edamame young soybeans in the pod give you about 10% in a 155g serving. And tofu, especially tofu made with calcium sulfate, can be incredible. A 126g serving might give you up to 86% of your daily needs.
86% from tofu. That's amazing.
It really can be. Then there's broccoli, not the highest, but it contributes. Around 43 milligrams per 100 gram.
Every bit helps.
Exactly. Dried figs are another one, quite rich in calcium, plus fiber and antioxidants. Fatty fish like canned sardines or canned salmon especially especially feed the soft bones, are excellent calcium sources. Sardines, a 92-gram can give you 35% of your daily need.
Wow, with the bones, okay.
Yep. Sweet potatoes offer some calcium too, plus vitamin A. Even oranges or fortified orange juice can contribute, maybe 74 to 300 milligrams, depending on fortification. And winter melon has a decent amount too.
That's a fantastic list. It really shows you can get calcium from lots of different foods, not just dairy.
That's the goal. Variety is key.
Okay, so food is primary. But what about supplements? When should people consider them, and what are the pitfalls?
Right, supplements. They can fill a gap, but you need to be careful. The biggest thing is not to overdo it. Don't go over that 2,000 milligram daily limit we mentioned.
Why not? What happens?
Too much calcium, especially from supplements, can lead to problems like constipation, potentially kidney stones, and it can actually interfere with your body absorbing other important minerals like iron and zinc.
Oh, okay, so more isn't automatically better here.
Definitely not. And crucially, for calcium to work, you need enough vitamin D. We talked about that link with dairy. Aim for about 600 IU of vitamin D daily, from food, safe sun exposure, or supplements if needed.
Vitamin D is the key partner then.
Absolutely essential. Also, be cautious about where the supplement comes from. Avoid things like unprocessed bone meal or coral calcium. They might contain contaminants like lead.
That's a really important safety tip. If someone does start a supplement, maybe on their doctor's advice, how should they begin?
Go slow. Start with a lower dose, maybe 200 or 300 milligrams at a time. See how your body handles it.
Okay.
If you get constipated, try upping your fiber and water intake. If that doesn't help, talk to your doctor. And remember, things like alcohol and caffeine can interfere with calcium absorption or increase how much you lose.
Moderation is key there too.
Yep. And a final important point. If you already know you have high blood calcium levels, you should avoid calcium supplements entirely. Always, always check with your doctor before starting any supplement.
Excellent advice. Really thorough look at calcium. Okay, let's switch gears now to the other side of this coin. Muscle health. Let's talk about sarcopenia. What exactly is that?
Sarcopenia. It's basically the age-related decline in muscle mass and muscle strength. We're talking about skeletal muscle, the muscles that move your body.
And why is that such a concern for older adults?
Well, it's a major reason why physical function declines. It leads to weakness, instability, and significantly increases the risk of falls and fractures. It's a really big contributor to frailty.
That sounds quite serious. Is there a typical age when this starts to kick in?
It varies, but it often becomes more noticeable around age 75, though, it can start earlier, maybe 65, or even later, like 80.
And does it affect everyone the same way?
No, it tends to progress much faster in people who are inactive, people who are bedridden, for example, or those who just don't move much, and also those with poor nutrition. It really is a significant risk factor for disability and, unfortunately, a shorter lifespan.
So it's not just something that happens inevitably with age that we can't influence.
Well, aging itself does play a part. There's a natural decline in certain hormones like testosterone, growth hormone, estrogen, which are all important for building and maintaining muscle.
How do those hormones work with muscles?
Well, take testosterone, for example. It helps stimulate protein synthesis, that's the building process, and muscle repair. Growth hormone stimulates another factor, IGF-1, which is key for muscle development. Estrogen seems to protect and repair muscle tissue, so as these levels naturally decline with age...
The signals to maintain muscle get weaker.
Exactly. Think of it like the body's internal build and repair signals aren't as strong. Sleep disturbances, common with age, can also lower growth hormone production. And for women, the drop in estrogen around menopause can affect blood flow to muscles too.
Okay, so hormones are one piece. What else drives sarcopenia?
Lack of physical activity is huge. Use it or lose it really applies here. If muscles aren't challenged regularly, the body doesn't get the signal to maintain them. Protein synthesis goes down, protein breakdown goes up.
Makes sense.
Plus, inactivity can mean poorer circulation, so fewer nutrients get delivered to the muscles. And then there's nutrition itself.
Right, you mentioned nutrition earlier.
Yeah, not getting enough calories overall, and especially not enough protein, is a major driver. Older adults sometimes struggle with this. Changes in taste, dental problems, difficulty swallowing.
All barriers to eating well.
Exactly. And you need adequate protein. The recommendation for older adults is often higher, maybe 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. Plus, we need enough vitamin D and calcium, which also support muscle function.
So it all ties together: activity, protein, even the calcium and vitamin D we just discussed.
It really does. And surprisingly, obesity can also be linked. You can have excess body fat, but still have low muscle mass and strength. Plus, the insulin resistance often seen with obesity might also contribute to muscle loss.
Interesting. Anything else?
Well, changes in the nervous system, fewer nerve signals reaching the muscles and declining circulation play a role too. And chronic diseases are a factor.
Like what kind of diseases?
Things like type 2 diabetes can impair how muscles use glucose and respond to insulin, leading to breakdown. Cardiovascular disease, too. And some medications can have side effects. Statins for cholesterol sometimes cause muscle pain. And long-term corticosteroids, used for arthritis sometimes, can decrease muscle mass.
Wow, it's quite complex. Lots of contributing factors.
Yeah.
So how would someone know? What are the signs of sarcopenia creeping in?
It might start subtly. A general feeling of physical decline, finding it harder to grip things firmly or lift objects that used to be easy.
Like grocery bags.
Exactly. Or feeling unusually slow when walking, getting tired really easily, even after minimal exertion, maybe losing interest in being active because it just feels too hard.
So a noticeable drop in physical capability and energy for activity. That sounds like something to watch for. What can be done? Can we prevent it or manage it?
Yes, absolutely. The most powerful tool we have is exercise, especially resistance training.
Lifting weights.
Doesn't have to be heavy weights. Resistance bands, body weight exercises like squats or push-ups against a wall, lifting light dumbbells. The key is challenging the muscles. Aiming for maybe 2 to 4 sessions a week is really effective for building strength and mass.
Okay, resistance training is key. What about other exercise?
Aerobic exercise like walking is great for overall health and cardiovascular function, and balance exercises are crucial for preventing falls. But for building muscle back, resistance training is the most direct way. It stimulates that protein synthesis we talked about and helps release beneficial hormones.
So it's genuinely never too late to start some strength work.
Absolutely not. Any improvement is beneficial, and exercise needs to be paired with good nutrition.
Right, the protein intake.
Yes, getting enough high-quality protein is vital. Sources like meat, fish, eggs, dairy, soy products, making sure you're eating enough calories overall to fuel muscle maintenance and growth.
What about specific nutrients? Anything else besides protein?
Omega-3 fatty acids, found in fatty fish, seem to have a positive effect on muscle growth. And creatine, it's a small protein our body makes, but supplementing alongside exercise can sometimes enhance muscle growth for some people.
Okay. Any lifestyle things?
Definitely. Quitting smoking is important, as smoking can negatively impact muscle health, and reducing alcohol intake helps too.
It really sounds like taking action on exercise and nutrition is paramount. What happens if muscle loss isn't addressed? What are the wider impacts?
They're significant. Beyond the obvious reduced mobility and higher risk of falls and fractures, sarcopenia increases your risk for chronic diseases, type 2 diabetes, obesity, metabolic syndrome.
How does muscle loss link to those?
Muscle plays a big role in glucose metabolism, so less muscle can worsen insulin resistance. It can also weaken the immune system because muscles store amino acids that the immune system needs. And ultimately, it impacts quality of life, more dependence on others, difficulty with daily activities, and it can even contribute to depression. It really affects overall well-being.
That really drives home why maintaining muscle is just as critical as maintaining bone health. Now, you mentioned vitamin D a few times in relation to both. Let's just quickly circle back to that. Why is it so important?
Vitamin D is crucial, mainly because you need it to absorb calcium effectively. Without enough vitamin D, your body just can't grab onto and use the calcium you consume, which, as we said, you need for bone health, keeping calcium and phosphate levels right.
So it unlocks the calcium, basically.
In a way, yes. But it also seems to play roles in immune function, maybe even reducing risks for some autoimmune conditions. It does more than just help calcium.
Okay. And how do we get it? You mentioned sunlight.
Yes, our skin makes vitamin D when exposed to UVB rays from the sun. That's the main natural source.
How much sun?
It's tricky. Recommendations vary, maybe 5-15 minutes on arms and legs a few times a week without sunscreen. But, dermatologists worry about skin cancer risk, so it's a balance.
Right. What about food?
Some foods have it naturally, mostly fatty fish, cod liver oil, salmon, mackerel. Some foods are fortified, like milk in some places, or cereals. But generally, food sources aren't super high, except for maybe the fatty fish. Breast milk is usually low in it, too.
And is deficiency common in older adults? You hinted at that.
Yes, very common. Several reasons. Older skin is less efficient at making vitamin D from sun. Older adults often get less sun exposure. Maybe they're indoors more, live in care facilities. Sunscreen use blocks production. Darker skin pigmentation naturally reduces production too. And dietary intake might just not be enough.
Lots of factors contributing. and the consequences if you are deficient.
Primarily poor bone mineralization. This can lead to osteomalacia, basically soft bones in adults, and contributes to osteoporosis risk, making fractures more likely.
So back to bone health again.
Exactly. It can also cause muscle weakness and pain, which again increases the risk of falling.
It really is the connector between bone and muscle health, isn't it? So how much do older adults need? You mentioned 600 IU earlier.
600 IU is a general guideline, but many experts think older adults need more, often suggesting 1,000 to 2,000 IU daily to keep blood levels adequate. The upper safe limit is usually set around 4,000 IU per day.
So higher needs potentially. Does supplementation make sense then, given the challenges with sun and diet?
For many older adults, yes, supplementation is often necessary, especially those with limited sun or low dietary intake. Vitamin D3 is generally considered more effective than D2.
D3. Good to know.
And just to reiterate, it's essential for using that calcium. They really are partners for bone health.
This has been incredibly insightful. It really paints a clear picture of why focusing on calcium, muscle health, and vitamin D is so fundamental as we age.
Absolutely. It's about proactive steps.
Yeah, making sure you get enough calcium, ideally from food, but considering supplements carefully with a doctor if needed. Prioritizing physical activity, especially resistance training. Getting enough protein. These aren't just small tweaks. They're vital for maintaining strong bones and muscles.
They truly are. These efforts directly translate to maintaining independence, preventing falls, staying mobile, and just supporting overall health and vitality in later life.
We really hope everyone listening takes these points on board. Talk to your doctor or healthcare provider about your specific situation, your diet, your activity level. Personalized advice is key.
Couldn't agree more. Everyone's needs are different, and a healthcare professional can help tailor a plan that works best for you.
Definitely. And if you found this deep dive helpful, please do give this video a thumbs up, maybe share it with friends or family who might benefit, and leave us a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts or questions.
Yes, engagement is always welcome.
And please, consider subscribing to Senior Care Insights and hitting that notification bell so you won't miss our future discussions on important topics around senior health and psychology.
We aim to keep bringing valuable information to help you navigate aging well.
Absolutely. So as a final thought to leave you with today, thinking about everything we've discussed, calcium, muscle, vitamin D activity, what's one small manageable change you could realistically incorporate starting today or tomorrow? Maybe adding a glass of milk or some leafy greens, or scheduling just 10 minutes for some simple strength exercises.
Doesn't have to be a huge overhaul.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Often it's those consistent small steps, day after day, that build up to make the biggest difference for a healthier, stronger future. Think about what that one step could be for you.